Everyone, Demetrius Memorial, your Mohawk Portico Specialist for the New York City metro region. Today we're at a Millwork station, a Village project, where we just installed beautiful redwood flooring and basically addressed a handful of concerns that arose with the contractor, flooring contractor, and the developer. Let's get to it. So they had issues in the past where floors have buckled, and what we guided the finish contractor was to shim the floors 1/16 of an inch around the perimeter. So you see this delta here? Some may not like that visual, but it's a required element on any floating floor installation. Why is that? Because what happens normally is when a finish contractor that puts the finished carpentry in, puts their finishes in, the base molding, usually what they're gonna do is push topical pressure on top of it so everything is level on top of your surface. There is no such thing as a flat level floor. So if you're pushing that load down and there's a dip in the substrate, you're basically restricting your floating floor's ability to expand and contract. And so inevitably what will occur is a buckling effect on your floating floor. So once again, what you do is you take a shim, you drive it underneath before you install both ends, you get a laser level to make sure your base molding's level, and you have a 1/16 gapping all the way around the perimeter between the base molding and the surface of your floating floor. Sounds good? Let's walk over to the next concern that they had was today's cabinetry regarding kitchens in the multifamily environments are installed with a ground footing here. So that's how they adjust them to go higher and lower. You see, turn left, it goes lower, right, it raises the cabinetry. Well, in New York, your cabinets need to be ADA compliant. So if a tenant moves in and the property is occupied by a handicapped occupant, you have to remove the cabinetry so they can have access to their plates, all those sorts of things. So the floor requires the ability to, has to have the ability to be removed, but also remember that when you're installing any floor or any cabinetry or anything on top of a floating floor, you cannot exceed weight limits of 500 pounds. This right here with plates and pots and pans, it's going to well over exceed 500 pounds. So what we got the contractor to do was get a hole saw.
A hole saw.
That you find carpenters, plumbers usually have them. That's a 1-inch base on each footing. What we're going to do is get a 3-inch saw, and we're going to create a jig where the footings are supposed to be, all right, with the cabinet guy. And we're going to drill a hole where the fittings are so that the floors can expand more than 3/8 around that footing without causing conflict and without having top weight load. So that footing is going to touch the substrate. It's no longer going to touch the top of the redwood flooring. So it's not going to restrict the floor's ability to expand and contract. It's going to make everything, basically, what happens is if there's that weight load on top, wherever the weight load is, that plank is going to be static. It's not going to move at the same rate as a free floating floor. So if the two floors are adjoining one another or attached to one another, and this is moving at a different rate, it increases the floor's likelihood of buckling. That's why we address that issue. So I hope that answers a few of your concerns regarding multifamily installs of floating floors, redwood flooring. And if you have any further questions, you can always feel free to contact me at 646-808-4302. Enjoy your new floors.